So let's spend some time discussing Kanban list views, and let me hide these filters here. And from this grid dropdown, you can display as a table or a Kanban list view. You can summarize and group these different records through the Kanban settings, and this is not a great list view because I only have a couple of cases displayed in the Mike's Cases list view. Let me try and save this, see if this will show. And so you notice that there's just two cases and they're both have an origin of web. And you can update these records by dragging them. And for this designation, we could change this record here by clicking and dragging to change it to an email case origin instead. Now, if we had a better list view such as all open cases and we view that, and there's not a lot of open cases, let's go into opportunities, and there's a lot more opportunities, and I'll show you some cool things that you can do with the Kanban list view as it relates to opportunities and sales totals and visualizing your pipeline through a Kanban list view. And that'll be a better option for us. And so if we go into opportunities and select a list view that has a lot of records, such as all opportunities, and we select the display as and select Kanban instead, this will show us the different stages here. In this chevron or path type of layout, we've got our different stages and the opportunities in each of these columns here that correspond with those different stages, such as the one opportunity that's in prospecting. And then moving left to right, we have qualification, needs analysis, value proposition, etc. And you can just scroll all the way over and see all the different opportunities. We see closed won. You also see these totals under each of these stages. And so this gives you an idea of the value of your pipeline in the different stages. And then once again, just like with cases, one of the nice things about a Kanban list view is you can drag and drop these to update these records. And this is definitely a user interface impact if you have a Kanban list view. So I'm going to drag this over into value proposition. And when I let this go, notice what happens with this value amount. That's going to increment upwards. And then this will increment downwards because we're removing this particular opportunity out of the qualification stage and into the value proposition. So that updates automatically those values as well. Another thing with Kanban list views is you have these warning messages here or alerts, and if you hover over that, that tells you that there's no open activities on this opportunity. Since this is a free Salesforce account and this data is kind of old and not been updated, you can hover over and decide, okay, I want to create a new task or a new event, and you can do that from the Kanban list view as well. And so that is accessible from this selection here, the display as option. And these are a valuable option for anything that has either a stage selection such as opportunities or lead records that have status designations. And let me show you what that looks like as we display that as Kanban. And we've got our different status designations on lead records: open, not contacted, working, contacted, and closed, converted. Once again, you can drag these as well to perform dynamic updates on the records. So leads have a status designation. Opportunities, as we saw, have a stage designation that represents itself very well with the Kanban list view. And as well, another one that works well normally would be the cases object. I'm just going to go in under the all items instead of changing applications though, and just go to cases, and let's just do all closed cases and see what we have here. And we've got a long list here of all closed cases. And so let's view this as a Kanban. And here we're going to group, instead of by case origin, we'll group by status. And so basically how this works in a Kanban, if you get into the Kanban settings, is you can select almost any pick list value to group your Kanban settings by. So if we select status, for example, and let me get out of there, we're grouping this list view by status and clicking save. And so now you'll notice the different status designations for cases. Now remember, we're on the all closed cases list view, so all 23 fall under the closed area. If we were to change list views to one that is all open cases, we previously were viewing that by the case origin. So instead we can group by status. And this is a more realistic scenario that you would use if you're wanting to elect to use Kanban for your open cases. And you could drag these, if you wanted to escalate this one, for example, you could just drag it over to escalated and it automatically has a status of escalated now. And so we see here the status is indeed escalated. So drag and drop ability and a lot of power housed inside of the Kanban list views. Another great feature that is available to you as an administrator on the platform, and one that you need to be aware of as it relates to list views and things that you can do with them and displaying them not only in a static list but in a more dynamic Kanban layout.